Hey everyone, predict the ending. A. Revenge. B. Reconciliation. C. Unexpected twist. Pick ABC and explain. Stories coming up next. The banquet hall is packed, the noise almost overwhelming. I stand at the back, as I always do, trying to be as invisible as possible. My sister Shannon is at the center of the crowd, glowing in her engagement party spotlight. My father's booming voice cuts through the chatter as he raises a glass, his hand almost theatrically steady as he addresses the room. To my beautiful daughter Shannon, he says, with a grin that could light up the room, a bright future ahead of her. I couldn't be more proud. The crowd claps, Shannon's face practically beaming, while my mother dabs at her eyes with a tissue. My father's eyes flick to me then, and the smile shifts. I know what's coming. And there's my oldest, he continues, gesturing toward me with exaggerated flair, still playing around with her little computers. One day she'll figure out what she wants to be when she grows up. Laughter erupts. The usual chuckles from my sister and mother, a handful of their friends who've heard it all before. The joke lands, just like it always does. Everyone's used to it by now. Me, the quiet one who never fits in with the rest. I stay silent, my expression neutral, my hands clenched under the table. Mr. Vega, one of my father's longtime friends, looks over at me. His gaze is sympathetic, but he doesn't say anything. He never does. The pity doesn't make it any easier to swallow. I don't respond. I don't have the energy to explain anymore. I've said it all before, years ago. They know what I do for a living, but it doesn't matter. None of it fits into their world, so it never counts. I mark it down, like I always do. A record. I won't explain myself again. The laughter from the toast still lingers in the air, even as I find myself thinking back to all the other times my father's little computer jokes had landed with a thud. It's not like I hadn't tried. God knows I tried. I remember those Thanksgiving dinners, where my father always talked about Shannon's latest promotion, or the time she won a beauty pageant when we were kids. Every time, he'd hold her up like she was the greatest thing to ever happen to the family, the epitome of success. A new house? Of course, he couldn't stop talking about it. My sister had it all. Looks, charm, everything people could see and admire, the kind of things they understood. But when it was my turn, I learned to keep my mouth shut. Except that one time. It was a few years ago, after I'd been named lead systems engineer for a defense contract. Big deal, at least in my world. I thought maybe, just maybe, this time he'd see it, acknowledge it. Maybe it would matter. So there we were, sitting at the old, worn dining table. The smell of turkey and mashed potatoes thick in the air. Shannon was glowing, of course, her latest promotion the topic of choice, as always. And there I was, waiting for the right moment, shifting in my seat. It was then that I finally spoke up. I got promoted at work, I said, quieter than I meant to. I was trying to sound casual. I'm the lead systems engineer now, for a classified aerospace defense contract. The silence stretched on for just a moment longer than I was comfortable with, before my mom smiled that small, confused smile she always gave me when I said something she didn't quite understand. "Oh, that's nice, honey," she said, looking at me like I'd told her I'd become a librarian or something equally mundane. "Are you working with someone we'd know?" I swallowed, fighting the sudden urge to explain, but before I could get out a word, my father waved his hand dismissively, as if he'd already decided he didn't want to bother hearing more. "Just more of her secret squirrel tech stuff," he said with a chuckle, his tone making it clear it wasn't anything worth his time. Can't beat building real things like houses and families. The laughter was the worst part. It was just like all the other times, just like the joke about playing with little computers. A part of me had known it would be like this, but there was still that small, naive hope that it might finally click, that my father, the one who built his whole empire with his bare hands, might finally get what I was doing. But no, my world, the one where numbers and code and satellites mattered, meant nothing to him, to them. Not in the way Shannon's world of beauty and houses and promotions did. They gave me a nickname, a joke to soften the sting. Techie the Ghost, they called me, always laughing, always with a smile, but never kindly. The ghost, the one who didn't fit, the one who wasn't seen. And I took it. Took it for years because there wasn't a point in fighting. It wasn't worth the energy to explain. After that, I stopped trying to explain myself. The next Thanksgiving, I didn't even bring it up. I'd learned my place. I wasn't part of the story they were telling. And honestly, I didn't think they'd ever want to hear it. I wasn't in the business of making them understand anymore. I'd already given up on that. Back in my world, the one that matters, the noise of the banquet hall fades away completely. The hum of servers, the beep of incoming data, the crackling of static on the line, it's all I know now. No one here cares about who's getting married or what house someone just bought. It's the work that matters. Real work. I step into the chilled underground lab, the walls lined with dimly lit screens and blinking monitors. It smells sterile, like metal and cold coffee. The lighting is harsh, the kind that's meant to keep you awake, to push you past the fatigue that builds up after hours of staring at numbers and data points. My team is already scattered across the room, eyes glued to their terminals, hunched over keyboards. There's a rhythm to it, a quiet buzz that permeates everything. The world outside might be loud and bright, but here we focus. It's all we know. I lead this group of analysts, a diverse mix of brilliant minds, all trained to look for the details others might miss. We monitor atmospheric data, keep an eye on satellite pings, and track anomalies in drone telemetry. Our job is to find patterns, even when they look like background noise. We're looking for the edges, the outliers, the things that aren't supposed to be there. And when we find them, it's our job to make sense of them. One day, I catch a blip. It's barely there at first, just a flicker in the Arctic satellite relays, so faint that most systems would dismiss it. I could have let it slide, but something about it tugs at me. I sit forward, my fingers already flying across the keyboard. It takes me a while to pull the data together. I cross-reference old logs, check the timestamp, scan through old records. The more I dig, the clearer it becomes. It's a dormant drone signature, one from a defunct Russian weapons program, buried under decades of silence. They thought it was gone, erased, but I see it. And once I see it, I can't look away. Frost signal. That's the name that pops into my head, and it feels like it fits. I start pulling up more data, patterns, coordinates, flight paths. Something isn't right. This isn't just an anomaly anymore. It's a thread, and I'm starting to pull at it. Dr. Keller, my supervisor, walks over, silent as always, his footsteps barely audible on the concrete floor. He's been watching me for the past 15 minutes, no words, just that same calm, analytical stare. When he finally speaks, it's not a question, it's a statement. Move forward with protocol. You're in charge, he says, his voice low but firm. I look up at him, trying to keep my face neutral, but inside I feel it. That small, quiet wave of recognition. It's mine now. Frost Signal is mine. I'm not just a cog in the machine anymore. I'm the one driving this. Dr. Keller doesn't say much else. He never does. But I can see it in his eyes. He trusts me. He's always trusted me, even when my father wouldn't, even when my family didn't. This is what I'm meant to do. I know it. My team knows it. And for the first time in a long time, the work feels like enough. Keep it tight, I say to the team, my voice steady as I take control of the operation. This isn't just another drill. We're going to need all the data we can get. Let's move. The room hums with renewed energy. I don't need to explain myself here. The work speaks for itself. The engagement party is a week behind me, but the taste of it still lingers. I've been back home for a few days now, avoiding the questions, avoiding them all. The same questions I always get when I come back. It's late after dinner, and my mom's cleaning up in the kitchen, scraping leftover mashed potatoes into a Tupperware container like she always does. I'm sitting at the table, just staring at the half-empty glass of wine in front of me. The whole night's been the same as usual. My father going on and on about how great Shannon's life is going, how proud he is of her. My mom nodding along like it's the most natural thing in the world. But it's the same old shit. I know what they think of me. My career. The work that I do. And tonight, after the joke about Techie the Ghost. The same tired punchline I've heard 1,000 times. I just can't keep quiet anymore. I push back from the table and walk into the kitchen, where she's still wiping the counter, her back to me. She doesn't say anything at first, but I can't hold it in. Why do you let him say things like that? My voice cracks a little. I don't care. She doesn't turn around. Instead, she keeps wiping, methodical, the sound of the dishcloth against the counter filling the space between us. It's just how he is, she says finally, her voice soft but tired. You know your sister needs encouragement. He doesn't understand what you do, that's all. I clench my fists, nails digging into my palms, but I force myself to stay calm. It's just another excuse, another reason why I'll never matter. I I take a breath and ask the question I've been avoiding. So, I don't get to exist? The words hang in the air, and I can hear how raw they sound, how much I've been swallowing just to make it through. But she doesn't react. Not really. My mom sighs, setting the cloth down on the counter, and finally turns to face me. Her expression is unreadable, like she's seen this play out too many times to care. You've always been so private, she says, shrugging slightly. Maybe that's why he never got close to you. I blink, and for a moment, the air in the room feels thick, like I can't breathe. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get me. The weight of all those years spent in silence, trying to make my way through a family that never really saw me, crashes down on me all at once. I want to yell to explain how tired I am of always being invisible, but I know it won't do any good. It never has. No matter what I say, it won't matter. My silence has always been easier for them. Easier than trying to understand what I do. Easier than seeing me for who I am instead of the daughter they thought they wanted. I look at my mom, really look at her tired eyes, her hands still resting on the counter. She's not angry. She's not sad. She's just resigned. And that's when it hits me. No explanation will ever matter. I could tell her everything about the work I do, about what it means, but I know it won't change anything. Not really. So I turn around, walking slowly out of the kitchen, feeling the weight of their indifference pressing down on me. I don't say another word. I don't need to. The command room is cold, the lights harsh above, making everything feel flat and unrelenting. It's been nearly 3 days since I last slept. The low hum of the servers is the only sound aside from the click-clack of keyboards and the occasional murmur of my team. We're deep in the weeds, running simulations on the latest data, cycling through patterns, anomalies, trying to get ahead of whatever's coming next. One of my analysts, Karen, glances at me with a smirk as she types, "You married to the servers yet, boss?" I don't answer. Just give her a look that says everything without saying a word. She laughs quietly and goes back to her screen. I'm too deep in it to care about jokes right now. There's too much at stake. And then, like a lightning strike, the system flags something. A red alert. I freeze for a second, the data flickering across my monitor. I'm not seeing things. The pattern I noticed weeks ago is back. Someone's testing the Arctic drone recon channels again. I lean in, pulling up the signal and cross-referencing with the last known parameters. It's faint, but it's there. I quickly run a comparison against all previous satellite pings. It's the same dormant drone signature. Someone's poking around where they shouldn't be. My pulse picks up as I start pulling more data, fast. I don't need to tell anyone on the team. Everyone's already locked into the shift, but I can feel the tension build. We're all chasing the same thing now, waiting for confirmation. And then, my secure phone buzzes. I swipe it open without a word. The number is from the agency. The voice on the other end is familiar. Captain Harris. "Frost signal," he says. "It's greenlit. We're moving forward." I don't say anything for a moment, absorbing the weight of his words. This is it. The operation we've been preparing for. "We'll need a 72-hour window for action," he continues. "You've earned the break. Take the time. But when we roll hard." I exhale slowly, nodding even though he can't see me. I've been buried in this work for so long, it almost feels foreign to take a step back. "Understood," I say. "Go, be a civilian for a day or two. You've earned it." I hang up without a word. My mind is already running through the logistics. But the truth is, I'm not sure I want a break. Still, I can't ignore it. I have to take the time. It's been too long since I've stepped out of this command center, let alone checked in on anything outside of it. I hesitate for a moment, and then, like clockwork, my sister's engagement party flashes through my mind, the one I'd promised I'd show up to, even though it's the last place I want to be right now. I grab my phone, hesitating as I book the flight. 72 hours, that's all I have. Time I'd spend pretending to care about things that don't matter, just to keep up the illusion of being part of a family that's never understood me. I'm not even sure why I'm going. Maybe I'll just go for the sake of silence, to remind myself that no matter how much I do, how much I achieve, I'll never be seen the way they see Shannon. I'll never fit into that mold. But the break's been granted, and it's there. So, I'll take it. I walk into the rehearsal dinner, and it's like stepping into a different world. The space is too bright, the chatter too loud. Shannon's the center of it all, of course. She's surrounded by friends and family, laughing, glowing. I'm on the periphery, as always, standing awkwardly near the back of the room, trying to make myself as small as possible. No one really acknowledges me. I don't expect them to, but it doesn't make it any easier. My father's too busy making sure everything's perfect for his youngest, his golden child. My mother's lost in conversation with some old friend she hasn't seen in years. The only person who notices me is Mr. Vega, and he gives me a brief nod. He's always been the one who understood the weight of silence. I find a seat at an empty table, my drink untouched. I watch the spectacle unfold, everyone fawning over Shannon, everyone pretending that this is what matters. My stomach churns, but I keep my face neutral. They've never really known me, and it doesn't seem like they ever will. Then my father stands up to give the toast. He clinks his glass with his usual air of authority, drawing everyone's attention. His voice booms across the room, projecting like it always does. To Shannon, he says, my beautiful daughter, about to embark on the best adventure of her life. You've made us proud, sweetheart. There's a round of applause, of course. I don't even bother to clap. And then his gaze swings to me, and I know what's coming. And there's my oldest, he says, a smirk in his voice. Our family's mystery girl, probably still hacking vending machines or something. Laughter erupts. It's the same joke, the same tired punchline. The whole room joins in, even Shannon and my mother. It stings, but I don't react. I've stopped caring about their jokes, their expectations. I stay quiet, a stranger in my own family. Later that night, back in my hotel room, I try to shake off the feeling of being invisible. I pull my phone out and check my secure app. An update from the agency, a classified notification, public briefing scheduled for 7 p.m. Eastern. I glance at the clock. The timing hits just after the speeches at the engagement party. My stomach tightens again. I tap out a response. Acknowledged. I set the phone down and exhale. The weight of it all settles back in. This world of family, laughter, and empty pleasantries is so far removed from the one I'm a part of. I can't care about it? Not anymore. Not when everything real is happening somewhere else. I get dressed in my hotel room, slipping into something simple but polished, trying to feel something other than the cold pit in my stomach. I don't want to go through the motions, don't want to smile at the wrong times, don't want to pretend to care about the lives of people who've never really seen mine. But I have to. As I walk back to the venue, the laughter, the clinking glasses, the murmurs of meaningless small talk all seem to blur together. They feel unreal, like I'm standing outside of it all, watching through glass. My mind is elsewhere, running through procedures, scenarios. Every minute I spend here is a minute wasted. And still, I smile when I'm expected to. I nod at the right moments. My stomach twists tighter with every passing second, knowing what's waiting for me on the other side of this. The operation, the briefing, the real work, the one thing that actually matters. The night drags on, and I'm barely present. My father's speech goes on, like it always does. He's talking about the family legacy, about how proud he is of Shannon, about how she's the future. I've heard it all before. Then, as if on cue, he glances at me again, and the tone shifts. And there's my eldest, he says, raising his glass with that same smirk, still off chasing computer gremlins. A few half-hearted chuckles float through the room, and I'm sure it's just the usual. People who don't care enough to notice, who've heard it 1,000 times before and don't bother to listen anymore. But it lands like it always does, flat, dismissive. They've never really seen me, not for who I am. I don't react. I don't have the energy to. Then the lights flicker. It's barely noticeable at first, but it doesn't take long for the music to cut out entirely. A silence spreads across the room, awkward and sudden. People shift in their seats, murmuring. I glance up toward the big screens flanking the room. A moment later, the screen flashes to life. The news anchor's face appears, and her serious expression grabs the room's full attention. She's speaking in measured tones, words thick with weight. We're interrupting this broadcast to report on a national security incident narrowly averted in the Arctic Circle, she announces, her voice sharp and urgent. A situation involving rogue drone activity that threatened to escalate. Thanks to the timely intervention of U.S. defense teams, the situation was diffused before it could escalate into a full-scale crisis. I freeze. It feels like the world pauses for a beat. I'm staring at the screen, but it's like the room goes dead, like everyone's forgotten how to breathe. The camera cuts to a live government briefing. The official standing at the podium is well spoken, composed. I barely hear the words because my mind is already racing, my heart pounding in my ears. The official praises the ground teams, then singles someone out. We'd like to take a moment to highlight the lead systems analyst whose early detection and command led to the success of Operation Frost Signal. The camera pans. The official moves aside. Behind him, there I am. For a fraction of a second, I don't register it. I'm staring at myself, watching the stills of me in the room, in command, focused. The footage cuts, showing me briefing military brass, my voice calm and precise. I see the way I held the room, the way my eyes didn't flicker even once. It's me, and it's like watching a stranger, but it's me. My codename flashes across the screen, and I feel the air leave my lungs. The murmurs start. People whisper, leaning in. Then someone speaks too loudly, and the room goes silent for a second. Wait, my cousin blurts, staring at the screen, his voice shocked. Isn't that you? I don't move. I don't even blink. The question hangs in the air, thick with disbelief. My father's glass slips from his hand. It shatters on the floor with a sharp, jagged sound. The noise echoes around the room, but it doesn't matter. I don't even hear it. The silence that follows is suffocating, deafening. All eyes are on me. His face crumples in slow motion. Shock, confusion, humiliation. He steps forward, his hand reaching out like he wants to say something, but no words come. The anger I expected to see isn't there, not yet. Instead, there's something worse. His pride cracking under the weight of a truth he never saw coming. I don't say a word. I don't need to. There's no explanation I could offer, no apology for the way I've been ignored, for the way they've never bothered to see me as anything other than a joke. In that moment, I lock eyes with my father, and I feel nothing. No satisfaction, no anger, no triumph. Just the finality of it. I'm done. His hand hovers in the air, frozen. His mouth opens, but the words don't come. His gaze shifts to the others, searching for something to hold on to. But it's too late. The room's still silent, but I don't wait for it to crack. I stand up, smooth and steady, and walk toward the exit. My mother stares at me, unblinking. But she doesn't move, doesn't say a word. My sister's expression flickers with something between betrayal and confusion, but I don't look at her. I don't care. I walk past the wreckage of my family's assumptions, moving toward the only person in the room who doesn't look at me like I'm a ghost. Mr. Vega. He stands and salutes. Ma'am, he says, one word. That's all I need. I walk out, and this time I'm not looking back. I don't look away. I lock eyes with my father across the room. The world has gone completely still, and in that moment, there's nothing but the raw, unspoken recognition between us. His face crumples, just like it always does when he's caught off guard. I see it shift from shock to confusion, then humiliation. His eyes search for something, anything, like he wants to reach out, to say something, but no words come. His hand twitches, as if it might go to his mouth or my shoulder like a reflex, but it never reaches. He doesn't know what to do with me anymore. And I don't need him to. He takes a step toward me, but I stay rooted to the spot. I don't move, not even when his hands rise, the way they do when he's trying to find his footing in the middle of a lost conversation. The kind of hands that built an empire, now shaking, lost. I don't say anything. I don't have to. There's nothing left to say. There never was. My silence has already said everything he refused to hear. My expression is neutral. I don't even feel the anger I expected to feel. I feel nothing. This moment isn't for him or for anyone else in that room. It's just the last page of a story I stopped trying to write years ago. No smile, no anger, just the finality of someone who's done trying. My mother's eyes shift from my father to me, her face unreadable at first, but when she meets my gaze, I see something new, like I've just become a stranger to her. A woman she doesn't recognize. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't even blink. She just stares, like she doesn't know who I am anymore. I look at Shannon next. She's standing there, mouth half open, looking betrayed. Her expression is almost panicked, like she wasn't expecting the spotlight to shift, like this was her moment, not mine. It's almost funny. But I don't laugh. I don't wait for anyone to react. No one here matters in the way that counts. I turn my back on them, every single one of them. And I walk away. I make my way to the door without looking back. It's slow, deliberate, and they can all hear the quiet steps, the way the floor creaks under my feet. But no one stops me, no one calls my name. They all watch me walk out because they don't know what else to do. Outside, the air is cooler, a relief from the heavy tension inside. Mr. Vega is standing by the door, waiting. He doesn't move to stop me or say anything else. He just stands, his posture solid and unbroken. He stands and salutes me, the same way he did the first time we crossed paths, years ago when I was just a kid with a laptop and big dreams. Ma'am, he says, one word, just one. It's the only word I need. I nod once, sharp and decisive, then step away from the wreckage of my family's assumptions. I don't need their approval, their recognition, or their false pride. The only thing I need is the quiet assurance of the people who understand what I do, not who I am. I leave them all behind. A year has passed, but it feels like a lifetime. I sit at my desk, the nameplate in front of me reading Division Lead, Frost Signal Initiative. No more jokes about Techie the Ghost, no more hiding in the back of the room. The weight of it is almost satisfying. The team knows who I am now. They know what I've done, what I'm capable of. They don't need explanations, they just need results. I'm running a high-level briefing in a glass-walled conference room, the kind that feels sterile and formal. Around me are federal officials, intelligence officers, and some of the top minds in defense. They all sit in their seats, eyes fixed on me, waiting for the data. I lay it all out. Strategic intel, the patterns we've tracked, the anomalies we're analyzing. My voice is steady, precise. I don't raise it. I don't need to. No one interrupts me. No one challenges me. The room is silent, listening, absorbing every word. When the briefing ends, there's a moment of hushed conversation as people start to file out, offering their thanks, their nods of acknowledgement. No one asks questions they already know the answers to. No one feels the need to remind me of my place. Here, I've earned my authority. I've earned their respect. The team starts to trickle back into the office, and we fall into the usual rhythm, comfortable, familiar. We sit around the conference table, laughing over the jargon we've created for ourselves. There's no small talk about who's getting married or what house someone bought. It's just work, and that's all it's ever been. I laugh along with them. These are my people, my tribe. They respect what I do, not because I'm family, but because I've proven myself. Then, as the laughter settles, my phone pings. A new email. It's from him. I don't need to open it, but I do anyway. The subject line reads, "A letter from your father. I know what's coming. I know what this is." The email's full of vague praise, a weak attempt at an apology. I didn't understand before. "I'm proud now," he writes. The words hit me like a slap, but there's no sting, just the dull, familiar ache that I've come to expect from him. I don't bother responding. Without a second thought, I delete the email. No hesitation. I don't need it. I've spent too long chasing something I'll never get from him. His approval doesn't matter anymore. I lean back in my chair and exhale slowly, looking out the window at the city beyond. The weight of the last few years falls off me, like I can finally breathe again. My world has moved on. His world? It'll always be stuck in that same cycle of expectations, assumptions, and half-hearted apologies. I turn back to my team. They're still talking, still laughing. They need me. I'm the one who guides them. I'm the one who gives them direction. And that's all I need to focus on. I grab the next set of files. Time to keep moving. I watch the military cargo plane climb into the sky, the sun dipping low behind it. The horizon blurs with the fading light, but I don't waste time trying to read meaning into it. There's no poetic reflection here, no grand moment of revelation. This is real life, dirty, loud, and often unforgiving. I don't need a voiceover to explain it. My father used to measure success in sales, in how much spotlight he could steal, how much recognition he could get. But for me, success has never been about applause or accolades. It's about stability. It's about doing the work and walking away without needing anyone to cheer for you. What I've built doesn't need his approval. It doesn't need anyone's. I glance down at my desk, at the pile of reports, each one a small step closer to securing the future. My phone buzzes on the corner of my desk, but I don't pick it up. Instead, I finish signing off on my last report of the day. The words come easily, like they always do. Beneath my name, the signature line reads, Division Lead, Frost Signal Initiative. I tap send. Some people talk the loudest, others just get it done. And I'm done talking. As the screen fades to black, I feel a quiet kind of peace settle over me. There's nothing left to prove.